share with us?
Well, I know that we're, all very happy with the verdict. I don't have a statement from the victim. There'll be a statement at the sentencing hearing.
He was found guilty on all of the counts, the maximum on each charge. Tell me about that.
It's 15 to 25 years on the aggravated rapes, 8 to 12 on aggravated sexual battery, 3 to 6, I think, on the other.
General Thurman, was that your final closing argument?
It was, yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
I don't know what else you can say, I don't stay on one job very long. I've been here 39 years. So, it's time to move on.
Did that thought cross your mind as you were wrapping up and looking at that jury? It's the last time in 37, 38 years, and probably one of the most widely known cases that you handled.
Oh, yes, obviously it crosses your mind when you're leaving. I'm going to keep my law license. If I get bored, I might do something. So I don't know if I'll ever see a jury again, but for right now, as a prosecutor, that'll be my last closing argument, unless I go somewhere as a special prosecutor. So.
General Moore, that's about as much as we've heard out of General Thurman in many, many years. Would you like to add to that?
It has been a privilege to work with both of these great attorneys and with Tom all these many years, and I can't think of a more fitting climax to a wonderful career. And I'd just like to thank the jurors from Shelby County, the sacrifice they made in coming here, listening to this case, and rendering the verdict. We're forever in their debt of doing justice, in this case, for our victim.
Can you talk about her initial reaction? I know you don't have an official statement from her, but she was disappointed last trial, seemed a little bit more pleased just from looking at her. Your thoughts?
Well, she's obviously pleased with the verdict, that all guilty on each count, so she's obviously pleased with that. She may have been a little upset early on, but I think once we explained to her the last case, I think she feels better about it, and she's shown so much courage and strength to keep coming back here. 3 years now we're into this situation, and we've got to know her really well. She's almost like family, so some of us. So it's I'm sure she's gratified for the jury's verdict in this case.
Even though you've been through this now 3 times, the emotions still seem to run very high for you, both General Norman, General Thurman, during the closing arguments. Can you tell me about that?
I think it's impossible to not be emotional about this case. The facts of it are horrific, and what happened to this victim is horrifying. No matter how many times you say it, no matter how many times you see it, it is horrifying every time. And nothing gets easier. I actually think it gets harder, because after every trial and after 3 years, we're closer to her than we even were the first time, because we've spent so much time with her that it is very emotional.
Can you talk about how crucial the video was?
Comment on what?
How crucial the video was and why it was so crucial to all of us?
Well, obviously it's crucial. Anytime you video a crime, and it showed at least 3 acts of aggravated rape on that very short video, so that was obviously very important evidence.
And I was just going to say, the gentleman standing over here, Detective Mayo, Detective Gish, Sergeant Shreve, can't say enough about the tremendous work that they put in this case and the dedication that they represent for the Nashville Police Department, of all of the officers. But they did a great job, and we should be forever grateful to them.
Any chance we'd see another trial, or are you expecting to handle the other 2 out of the trial setting?
Oh, there's been no plea negotiations at all in those 2 cases. Obviously, they were severed out. Mr. McKenzie obviously has testified 3 times now. I'm sure they'll be set on a docket, and then they'll do just like any other case. We'll start plea negotiations. If nothing can be agreed to, then they'll be set for trial, I'm sure.
I know severing wasn't ideal initially, but do you feel that maybe that helped see the 2 sides more clearly exactly what they did? You got to say a little bit more, it's include a little more of
It did make a difference. In this particular case, we got to use Mr. Vandenburg's statement, I think, to the police, which was important, and we didn't get to use that in a joint trial.
Will the victim testify in the next two cases? Is she expected to testify?
Mr. McKenzie?
The victim.
Oh, well, yes. If they go to trial, yes, we do anticipate she'd testify, yes.
Jan, can you talk to, I mean, you talked about your closeness with her after all this. Can you talk about her strength at all, just in regards to, she has come in here now three times, sat in front of strangers and recalled all of this. And, I mean, that doesn't happen very often in these types of situations.
It does not, and it's something that we don't want victims to have to go through and have to do. Actually, all of this doesn't happen very often, and it doesn't happen to a rape victim. And the media scrutiny and having it in the headlines every single time that there's a hearing and everything is streamed and people are commenting, that, I mean, she's one of the strongest people that I know. She has incredible courage, and she is just an amazing, intelligent young woman.
Speaking of all the media scrutiny, I mean, this has received an awful lot of media attention, but also sex crimes on campus have received it. I mean, what do you hope comes as a result of these very high-profile trials that we've had in this case?
Well, I would say this case is very emotional for the victims, but you know, it's also emotional when you look at all the young lives that were destroyed that one night based on this situation. There was so much promise of things in that room from all those individuals, and now their lives are pretty much destroyed as to what they can accomplish, you know, with this very serious crime. So I'm hoping at least this can send some type of message. Sometimes that's a cliche, but I hope young people do pay attention to this and see what choices they make with alcohol and with their actions can be severely impact their lives and in certain cases destroy their lives. So I'm hoping this will kind of send a message out that this is serious, what happens, and it has serious consequences.
Any thoughts on Mr. Vandenburg tonight? Just your impressions after going through 2 trials with him?
Well, obviously, I think from what I saw, he's very emotional about it, as anyone would be. It's having their bond revoked and facing the amount of prison time he is. So, you know, he's had 2 trials. We've had 24 jurors that have found him guilty. So I think that speaks for itself.
Minimum and maximum prison time for Mr. Vandenburg, 15 on the minimum, I'm thinking.
Yes.
The possible max?
You just have to count it up. If, in fact, we ask for consecutive sentencing, that decision won't be made for a while. But
So that is allowable consecutive sentencing?
it could possibly be in certain situations. I'm not saying it is in this situation. We haven't even looked at that to consider it, so that'll be done at a later date.